Well, hey everybody, John Redlin here, and this is Which Was Worse, Episode 11, Title Reigns of Terror, Part 4. Everybody get on that floor and do the dinosaur, or watch a documentary about dinosaurs, or try to dig up dinosaur bones, or watch a dinosaur in JBL, because I'm going to talk about his title reign from 2004-2005, for the WWE title, that is, and Jinder's WWE title reign in 2017. And which was worse, it's going to be difficult to figure that out. Now, if we were just to go by sheer length of a title reign, JBL's would take the crown because he held it for about 9.5 months. Jinder held his for about 5.5 months. But let's take a look at the state of the WWE title before each respective reign began. So, for the WWE title, because he had the Undisputed title and everything, and then once Brock jumped ship to SmackDown, it became the WWE title, and you had him as champion, and Big Show was champion for like a month, and then Kurt Angle was champion for a little bit in the Mania 19. Brock won, held the title till Vengeance 2003, where it was a triple threat with him, Angle, and Big Show, and they had a great match. Vengeance 2003, pretty underappreciated show. And then Angle held it for a little bit, dropped it to Brock soon after. And then Brock held it for a while until he lost it to Eddie Guerrero. And by God, do I miss Eddie Guerrero. I miss him every goddamn day. Very few deaths in wrestling, very few celebrity deaths hit me as hard as Eddie Guerrero's. But Eddie Guerrero's tragic passing aside, even though it still hurts this day and hurts a lot of people, he won the championship for Brock Lesnar at No Way Out 2004. Great match, emotional match. My God, a great match. I did a reflection and actually talking about Benoit. I did I'm not gonna be able to put the link up there, but it was it was a broad overtake of their title reigns, when they began and when they ended, and how maybe they could have been better. So Eddie defended against Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 20, and then against JBL in Judgment Day 2004, where Eddie bladed a little too deep, and dear God, oh boy, was it bad. Oh boy. That was a scary one. Might do a reflection on that match, sometime in May. But anyway, then you had him face JBL again in a bull rope match, and, JBL won, and it was great. I want to say it was great. Was it Great American Bash 04, I believe? I think it was, because it was at the next pay-per-view, and I believe that was the next one. And this wasn't very good, because JBL winning, now JBL had gone from being a member of the APA, and he had cut his hair recently, and then Ron Simmons got released for whatever reason, I don't remember the reason. And JBL went from being a beer swigging, just swigging a whole bunch of beers and playing a whole bunch of poker and doing all that, and being a member of the Acolyte Protection Agency, to suddenly becoming a billionaire, basically Vince's dream. He was trying to create a new $1 Million Man. The problem is $1 Million Man cut a whole lot better promos. Now, JBL could get under people's skin. I will say that much. JBL did a good job of being a pompous jackass and everything, pretty much, because he is a pompous jackass and also a bit of a bully. That also likes to soap up, rookies in the shower. I'm not here to kink shame, but that's a little bit weird. Especially for somebody, that claims to be, claims to be the type of man that JBL is or whatever. Basically just tries to be all manly man or whatever. I think he's a bit of a hypocrite. Hypocrisy with JBL aside, though, he was, he's created to be this character. They made him seem like he gave Eddie Guerrero's mother a heart attack. He chased Mexicans away from the border. That was a little bit much. It was humorous in the sense that you gotta find dark humor in things, and at the time I found it funny, but I also was cringing, and this is coming from me that cringes at very little. And I was like, maybe we shouldn't be putting this here. But they wanted to make JBL a full-on dick heel, and they did a good job, I will say that much. He was easily hateable. Beat Eddie Guerrero, Great American Bash, beat him in a cage match on SmackDown a few weeks later when a masked man interfered, and it turned out to be Kurt Angle, who was supposed to be injured but wasn't. And then JBL had, some of the worst feuds. It was fucking rotten. He had a feud with The Undertaker that wasn't very good. Like the Last Ride match. Well, no. It wasn't the Last Ride match. The Last Ride match came later. He had the match where JBL went through the gimmicked roof of the limousine that a fan almost ruined by trying to get on the limo. But then JBL got chokeslammed through there, so that was like a DQ. JBL would always retain the title by DQ, and that worked in the Crockett days and in other days, and even in older WWF days, where the champion would retain by DQ, even if he was a heel and this kind of stuff. But the problem is those champions were much more over than JBL was. Maybe with the exception of Honky Tonk Man. Honky Tonk Man would win by DQ or dubious methods, but at least JBL could sort of work. Honky Tonk Man just couldn't fucking work at all. And there's my one fucking shot to Honky Tonk Man per video. I'm going to try to keep a tally on those. But then JBL had his feud with The Undertaker, and it was another really bad, it was a really bad match. It was a really bad match. It was the last ride thing, and then the Heidenreich feud kicked back up with Undertaker, and then JBL faced Booker T at Survivor Series in a match that was okay but wasn't great. The best match he had two good matches as champion. Two. And it was mainly because of the people involved. Armageddon 2004, which was a shit show of an event. I almost said a shit show of a show, but that would have been weird. JBL, Booker T, Eddie Guerrero, and Undertaker. So basically the guys that JBL had feuded with pretty much from becoming champion and everything were all there to get him. And of course, Heidenreich interfered to stop Undertaker, and JBL ended up winning. He ended up retaining the title somehow. And then faced Angle and Big Show in a actually pretty underappreciated match at Royal Rumble 2005. It was a triple threat, and JBL walked out, as champion somehow. And then he faced off against Big Show in a barbed wire steel cage match where JBL somehow managed to escape, even though there was supposed to be no escape there. And then feuded with Cena and lost to Cena at Mania 21 in a pretty limp match. And then, afterward, I'll actually get into the aftermath here in a little bit. So that was pretty shit. But then let's go with Jinder. Now, JBL at least had been a tag team guy and had been on TV quite a bit. And I don't know if he'd necessarily been taken seriously, but you can believe he was at least tough and that kind of stuff. Jinder had been a fucking running joke in 3MB and that kind of stuff. And he had apparently been depressed, and depression's no joke. It's unfortunate that he was depressed. He was able to leave the company, I guess, get better in the ring. He really hasn't improved all that much in my eyes, but whatever. Maybe I'm just blinded by the fact that he's not very fucking good in the ring. At least what he's allowed to do. He comes back. He's in okay shape, but not great shape. I mean, I'm one to talk about. I'm just talking as far as a wrestler. He was not, jacked from working out so much like he was. I'm sorry. We know what the fucking reasons are. I'm not saying the guy hasn't changed his diet and changed his workout regimen, but don't fucking tell me that there ain't some supplements going on. Don't fucking tell me that. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. I'm not saying it was steroids, but I'm saying it's something like steroids. But suddenly Jinder's in shape or whatever, and Vince says, "Oh, look at him. He's all jacked, all that beef, pal." But anyway, boy, my voice is a little rough from doing that Vince impression in other videos. God, maybe I wrecked it a little bit too much. Anyway, Jinder goes from basically being a goddamn joke, jobbing to Rob Gronkowski and Mojo Rawley at the Mania 33 Battle Royal. Jobbing at a Battle Royal to suddenly winning the number one contenders match sometime after Mania 33, and then beating Randy Orton at Backlash 2017. And I'm sorry, but if you're going to tell me that was a good idea, it was not a good idea. Now, it's fine if you guys think it was a good idea. I'm not going to tell you that you thinking it was good is a bad thing. You guys are cool. If you guys are fans of Jinder, that's fine. If you thought it was a great thing he became WWE champion, cool. But in my opinion, it wasn't. It was fucking ass. It took the championship and turned it to shit. And let's take a look at the state of the championship before Jinder. Let's do the same thing we did with JBL. So, pretty much so let's go back, we went about a year and a half. Let's go back a year and a half. So, back into 2016, something like that. You got, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. You got Roman Reigns as champion heading into the Rumble. Or 2016 Rumble. Triple H wins the 2016 Rumble. Because the title was on the line. He loses it back to Roman Reigns there. Okay, Mania 32. in a not very good Mania, let's be perfectly honest. And that's not the fault of Reigns, it's not the fault of Triple H. The match just wasn't very good. It wasn't going to be very good no matter who was involved. Because nobody wanted to see that match. And they had to turn down the house mics because Roman Reigns kept getting booed. Once again, all the best to Roman Reigns. Glad he beat leukemia. Whether I'm a fan of the wrestler or not, doesn't matter. The man himself deserves respect. Now, I know I say that sometimes ad nauseum, but I feel that it's necessary to repeat. And to anybody that feels that Roman Reigns faked his leukemia or WWE did, you're fucking idiots. That's all I gotta say about that. Not that you guys would have the guts to say anything. Anybody's like, you wouldn't have the guts to say that to Roman Reigns. Say that much right now. So, here's the whole deal. Looking at the title, he loses it to Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins then is holding it aloft, and then Dean Ambrose comes out, successfully cashes in, becomes WWE champion for a little bit. I'm not going to go through all of Dean's accolades as champion because there weren't that many, but he loses it to AJ Styles soon after. I'm actually going to cover Dean's title win and title run in another video at some point. And don't worry, I'm going to get more in depth on that, but loses it to AJ Styles. And then AJ Styles holds it till WrestleMania. Holds it till, well, not till WrestleMania. Holds it till the Royal Rumble. Cena wins it. Bray wins it at Elimination Chamber a couple weeks after. Bray loses it to Orton. Orton's champion. Orton loses it to Jinder. Orton, who, now look, if Orton was fine with it, whatever, he did drop one of the sayings and was like, I dropped him, oh no. I don't think he would have sounded vaguely English, but whatever. But, so Randy Orton loses to Jinder. Randy Orton, who has beaten some of the legends or whatever, could not beat the Singh brothers and Jinder Mahal. I'm sorry, but that was ridiculous. Now, I had nothing against the Singhs going with Jinder. If anything, if you had given Jinder the U.S. title, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. You'd given him the U.S. title and built him up for a number of months and then had, Jinder go for the WWE title sometime after Mania 34, fine. Do not, he could have beaten AJ Styles. I would have fucking hated it. But at least then, if Jinder had done something, then it would have done maybe some good. But no, they did it backwards. They did it fucking backwards. It was goddamn ridiculous. He became champion. Limp match after limp match with Orton. He had a limp match at Money in the Bank 2017. Then the Battleground 2017, one of the, easily, I think, the worst pay-per-view of the year. At least the worst main event, the Punjabi prison match. Oh, sweet Jesus, that was bad. And then you had Jinder feud with Nakamura, including at one point, he hit him with the colossal failure, or whatever the hell, a Coloc. I don't know, the Coloss, I think is what it's called. But he hits him with that, Cobra Clutch driver in a segment and tries to cover him in a segment. Now, again, Jinder may have been trying the best goddamn bit that he could. He may have been trying every, single bit and trying to get better and doing his best to be champion. But you cannot fucking goddamn tell me that Jinder was a good WWE champion. I mean, you can. I'm not going to agree with you, but I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm not. As much as it sounds like I'm getting angry here, I just can't see why they gave him the championship. Oh, they gave him the championship to try and break into India. He's Canadian. I'm saying that people can't, break into the India market if they're from Canada. Nothing wrong with Canada. But then Jinder, thankfully, thank fucking Christ, loses a title. I believe it was in Manchester. It was in Manchester or London. I think it was Manchester. He lost it in, the UK, thankfully. Because I remember being at the SmackDown a couple weeks before that. And Jinder talking about facing Brock Lesnar. And it was at the Key Arena. And we're laughing at him. I don't know if they turned it down or what, but everybody in the arena was fucking laughing at the guy. At least vast majority. And then he lost it. And then from there, let's go back to what happened with JBL. So JBL loses it against Cena at WrestleMania 21. Then has a rematch at Judgment Day 2005. I Quit match and quits. But then Cena, being the bully, throws him to, hits him with a pipe or something like that. Pipe from this trailer hitch thing, whatever. It was stupid. Or an exhaust pipe or something. It was really weird. It was a bloody match. Cena bled a lot. Cena bled a lot in his earlier run, as the guy, as the franchise Big Snatch John. I think I said that right. Probably not. Lord knows some of his exes, he was used to big snatches, wasn't he? I'm not talking about Mickey, because Mickey's cool. But Mickey, by the way, Mickey James. So, anyway, I'm not talking about Mickie James. But the whole point is, it's Nikki Bella. That's who the fuck I'm talking about. I'm saying Nikki Bella only slept with Cena to get to the top. That's what I'm fucking saying. Yeah, a little bit angry here. So, and it's fine if you don't agree. But then we got JBL. He feuded with Batista for the world title and that kind of stuff. But by 2005, end of 2005, he was pretty much, jobbed out. He was jobbed to Bradshaw Layfield. And then we go to Jinder. And Jinder had lost the title and really wasn't featured all that well. Became U.S. champion in Mania 34, lost it, and has pretty much been seen as a joke ever since. Which was worse? JBL's was worse in the sense that it was longer, but Jinder's felt like it was about 5 years. I'm sorry. Jinder's title reign was much, much, much more painful. Much more painful to endure. I'm not saying he didn't try, but Jinder's was worse. It was just fucking goddamn rotten. It was so fucking horrible. But anyway, that's what I have to say. What do you have to say? This was a little bit angry. I'm going to try to be a little more positive in my next video. Maybe. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I will see you soon.